Everybody, GT Cam here once again. I thought I would finally cover Tekton because I really haven't mentioned them on this channel, and it seems like we don't hear much about them these days while they toil away in the shadows doing what they do best, and that is turning out extremely consistent, reasonably affordable tools. They're not bargain basement by any stretch, but the average person can afford them and get by with them until they can afford better, or maybe it's as deluxe as they actually need. If you could, go ahead and drop a like and subscribe while it help me keep growing this channel. With that in mind, we're going to continue on here. What I've got is my old faithful set of Tekton half-inch drive. When I started to go away from Craftsman, when I realized I would no longer be able to get any of my US made stuff warranted with US made items, I decided I'd relegate the Craftsman to collector pieces and move up to something else. That something else was Tekton. At the time, they had a reputation for you take a picture of your broken tool and they would just mail you another one. I've never had to do it. I can't speak to personal experience with it, but that's what I've always heard. I personally have not yet heard a horror story in dealing with their warranty process, so that's worth considering. There's a couple floating around out there, but be that as it may, here we go. So one of the first things they're known for is obviously the warranty service. Behind that, another thing they're known for is no skips. There just aren't any, at least not by modern standards. It used to be that you'd see various 30-second increments over here in the larger fractional or SEE sizes. That was an old industrial thing here in the US. You don't see that much, so therefore nobody really needs to worry about that. I can't recall ever needing one of those. As far as my home tools go, Tekton is the one that I've had the second most experience with behind Craftsman. I get into Snap-on and Proto and stuff at work, and I have experience with Proto at home too because Proto and stuff have always been around. That said, what we've got here is their half-inch set. I don't believe they've changed this even now, but what we've got out here, we've got a 10-inch extension, the U-joint and 3-inch extension I have in the back shop somewhere. Socket sizes in fractional go from 3/8 to 1 5/16. So we got a complete set of shallow and deep sockets. And then over here on the metric side, we go from all the way from 10 millimeter up to freaking 32 millimeter. Now it's worth noting that the deep sockets are deep broach for those that like that sort of thing. The rest of us find ourselves having to improvise when we're trying to thread nuts on where we can't get our freaking hand. Although if you can get that socket in there, I would hope that you can get your freaking hand in there. It comes with a breaker bar. I like longer breaker bars personally, but it is what it is. They also have a nice 90-tooth ratchet. It's a quick release. Not my favorite ratchets, I'll be the first to admit, and largely because this finger groove for me just never seemed to fit. The half-inch is all right. It's the smaller ones that I find the issue with. One thing I will say that I haven't heard anyone actually point out before, and I think one of the reasons Tekton is appreciated, is they produce an extremely consistent product. I have seen very little variance in quality or changes. Like, I'm pretty sure this kit hasn't changed. Their 1/4-inch kit changed since I got mine, and it actually included 15 millimeter. So back when I got mine, it only went up to 14, which as far as I'm concerned is fine on a 1/4-inch kit. But be that as it may, here we go. You've got a reasonably affordable half-inch kit. Now, half-inch kits are never cheap, just because there is a lot of metal in some of these. A lot of steel going on. But that said, if you need a set with no skips and you don't want to break the bank, Tekton is a really solid alternative. I mean, we can even look at the markings here, and while I believe they are laser etched, it's a deep laser etch. It's not going to just rub off of there. You could probably color fill these and make them even more even easier for those of you with fuzzier eyes, like myself. That said, do with it as you may. I'll drop a link for this down below. Another thing with Tekton is if you order direct from them, you get a 10%. You get 10% of credit towards your next order. I've never actually ordered from their website. I tend to prefer Amazon's delivery service. And for the amount of money involved, 10% really just isn't much to me. Amazon's delivery has been the most consistent delivery I've been able to get where I'm at. UPS, USPS, and FedEx have all been, well, kind of a pain in the butt this year. More than once I found myself having to go to their depot to pick something up. So with that in mind, I'll probably drop a link either way. If you guys want to go to Tekton's website, cool. I don't get any compensation for that. If you go to Amazon's thing through my link, I might get something out of that. It's up to you guys. I'm not going to stress it either way. It's nice to have a little income to help support this freaking habit of mine. But there we go. So we got an extremely consistent product, no skips, and a decent warranty that you don't have to leave your house to freaking actually fulfill. So, all pluses in my book. So, with that in mind, that's all I got for you on this one. So, GT Cam out.